All right, so this is it. It's just the 5 of us.
I think so for the moment.
Cool. Fuck, I've been waiting for this day for like 3 or 4 weeks now. It's been like, it's like, yeah, we got to see the patch notes early, and it's like,
yeah, it's just like you can't talk about it though.
Yeah, so fucking what? Yeah, the fun part's like talking about it with everyone and then actually getting to play with it. So I want to hear. Give me, what are you guys thinking?
It's a new change because obviously it was missed off the patch notes. But Dragon Protection, that spell, the changing from slow to focus, is so huge.
It's insane. I'm excited about that card. I used to play that card in like bad Karma Zoe decks.
So this is the 2 mana.
That's just any Karma Zoe deck, right?
So if anyone doesn't know, it's a 2 mana now focus spell that gives an ally +0/+3 permanently. That puts any champion that's like in the death range that you can run Ionia with fine now. Whether that
it does have to be generated, I believe, by the dude.
Right, the 3/2.
It has to be generated for sure, but you know,
Scales of the Dragon, yeah, but like it's a 4/2 for 3. Like it's not like a terrible card. You just play it, trade it off, basically first chance you get. Slap +0.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a blocker, and then you get the token from it, and then you can just use the token whenever you want.
Yeah, I think for something that got left out of the patch, I think it could be pretty good, pretty impactful.
I think it's just like +3 health is a lot. When you look at it, it's you can compare it to cards like Shield Duran, that gives like the buffs in Demacia. But it being in Ionia is huge, right? Because it's, I mean, think of it like a Twin of Disciplines, but permanent.
I would often cast Zenith Blade on my Zoes or my Eyes just because then they're not killable.
Or like,
it's like
Sunblast Vigor, right? Just pretty easy comparison.
Yep. Yeah, if you cast Sunblast Vigor on Zoe, she's just not dying. Ever.
Yeah, I think it's pretty significant. For sure.
Most impactful card from the balance.
I don't know about that. That's a little.
I think as well is the fact that you run the unit, so you get a blocker out of it, and you get the token of the thing. It's just a lot of value.
It's probably top 5, maybe top 5.
Yeah, it is huge. Out of everything, I think it's up there definitely, especially for Targon champions.
If we're ignoring like the nerfs. Because the nerfs are like the most impactful, I feel like.
Oh yeah, no, the nerfs.
Yeah,
that's like cheating for sure. The nerfs are always going to be more impactful, though.
Do we want to start going down it, or?
Yeah, just go. Let's do it.
Do we want to each like talk about our favorite change or least favorite, or do we just like go down?
At the end or something. Like, let's just go down and we can do it at the end.
Go.
Okay, so at the very top we have Might of the Vanguard, which is a new card, 3 mana. Slow spell. To play, spend all of your mana, summon a Dauntless Vanguard, and grow its stats to that amount. If 9+ mana was spent, grant other allied elites +2/+2. I'm really curious what you guys think about this, because I read it and like back in whenever we got to see it. It
looks cool.
And I have no idea.
It looks cool. It fits in really well with the whole thematic of it. Do I think it's a good card that you should ever run in a deck ever? No. I think if you look at the other like high cost cards, you can treat this as in like a Therma Beam, right? So it spends all your mana, and you're investing all your mana into it, and you can summon like a 4 mana 4/4 for 4, a 5 mana 5/5 for 5, But I feel like elites, you're already running a curve up to a certain point. I think maybe if you're running this card, it can like fill in a slot when you're like missing a curve, and it can just you've got 3, 5, 6 as your curve. You can put this in the 4 slot maybe. I mean, it might seem playing elite decks, but do I think it'll ever get off the +2/+2 effect? Rarely.
Okay, but I think my boy Akato here is going to skip that like turn. He's going to suck up some mana here or there, and then on turn 6, he's just going to 9/9. Everyone gets +2/+2.
I think
go to town.
Playing it on turn 6 is like ultra bait. Like you're just asking, like, please ruinate me. Like, dear God, please ruinate me. I think the really impactful one is like turn 3. Like float into a 6/6 isn't that
It's like
bad.
Remembrance with upside. Well,
Yeah.
it's Remembrance with downside, but also with upside later, and it's more flexible. So
I think what I like about this card is, again, its flexibility. It's fine, like you can play it early because it just spends all your mana, and then like with the deck like elites, if you are building say elites and this is the card that you run, like elites itself has like relatively little card draw, and so like drawing this late is actually pretty cool, right? It's not like drawing a 1-drop, right?
Yeah.
So having like just a flexible card that and I think what's like even more flexible about it is the fact that you can summon a unit for spell mana, right? And like for any sort of mid-range deck, that's just a really insane capability. And so like even if you miss like one of your curve on like turn 4 or something, you can just bank 3 spell mana and then it makes this card better on the next turn. So I think it's a cool card and it has like an upside to this synergy. Does this make elites good? That's a question mark.
Okay. Well, hear me out. Hear me out. This is what the deck is. It's Jace, because Jace can double this. And if you play it for 9 mana, then you get 2 9/9s, and they buff each other. And more importantly, if you place field promotion on your Jace, he becomes an elite. And then he gets the buffs as well.
And then your opponent gets the best ruination in the history of the game.
The
Wait, no, bro.
ruination.
Field promotion your Albus Pharaohs.
What I will say,
Oh
what I
my
will
God.
say is, you guys are laughing at this now, but on like if only. I mean, obviously it's something that can't happen because it's technically a 0 mana card. But imagine if you had the mana, you could manifest it with the 2-drop. So it's like a 6+ card spell.
Oh, and you just
I know
get
that's not how
blown
it
the fuck
works.
out, yeah.
I know that how it works.
That'd be
but
miserable.
Well,
And
you
again,
can
the
Coccologist it, right? So like if you're playing like Lux.
Yeah, again, the downside is it spends all your mana, right? Like cards that say that are generally like really poor, especially when this is something that you want to like play into your development and not like a Thermo Beam, which like is a reactive card instead. So like having to tap under just leaves you so vulnerable. So it has its ups and downs.
I think it's all right. I think it's the type of card that's really difficult to gauge. Like, how good is a 6/6 on 3? How good is a 7/7 on 4? What situations is this actually useful? I think it's something that we won't know until we've seen it a few games.
I think with the other elite changes, we'll definitely see some version of elite, whether it be tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I think elites will be somewhat viable within the first couple of weeks. So if this card sees some play, it's going to be quite interesting. New cards are always interesting to see, right? How they perform.
Okay, moving on, as we do have a lot to go through. Let's go 4 Glory. 6 mana slow, Reputation, I cost 3, summon 2 Trifarian Glory Seekers.
Which are the 5/1 challengers that can't block.
Yeah.
Only good if you rep. If you don't rep, it's rubbish. I don't know. I think 1 health units past turn like 4, it's just not good. Like the reason why you run these in like run the Glory Seekers in the first place is to play it very early on, where you force answers and like a tempo play, but it gets you early rep, right? The whole point of the 5/1 is to get your early rep. It's got Challenger, they ever have to deal with it, or you get your early rep in. This, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's a tech card. I think it's like a meta-dependent card, right? Like it's really good against Demacia.
Like a PNZ and Shadow Owls just don't exist. It's like just mid-range dudes running into each other.
If you ever trade this card into a Static Shock or a Vile Feast, like you'll want to off yourself.
You will quit the game, yeah.
Yeah.
I did say in my video though, I mentioned that I was pretty down on this card during the roundtable, but like I did mention in my video that like this card is like kind of nuts against like Akshan Sivir type decks that can't deal with the 5/1 outside of combat. Yeah, I don't like it because like you said, as against a Vile Feast deck or Static Shock deck or like anything that can just kind of shoot it, you're gonna be like, that's fucking sucks.
Aisha is the worst.
I think the really good use cases, so like the situations where it really shines, are going to be it enables your reputation early, because you're getting 2 5/5s out there that are going to hit at least once. That's like a use case.
Pass it on 6. Pass it on 3. I mean.
You potentially, depending on like matchups, right? Like, or even like playing it on like turn 4 or turn 5. The other thing that I think that it's doing is you can hit it off of Ferris Financier, which is really nuts if you're Draven Ezreal and you're into, decks that can't deal with it. This is like an I win card, which I think will be really interesting.
That's fair.
I mean,
When I saw this card, like at the very beginning of the patch notes when they came out, I couldn't see the images. I don't know if you guys could, but so I was like guessing the cost. I was like, oh, maybe the cost 5 and it's okay. At 6, it's just like one more. And it's like, it's close, but I do agree. Especially when you can like at least protect it. You know, if you're in Ashe Nox, you have Troll Chant, things like that. But it might just be like a little bit of a win more. You know, against decks that can't deal with it. You already have like Frostbites to like trade up anyways. So it's interesting.
I wanted them to make it the same card, but it summons 2 Reckless Trifarians. The 3 mana 5/4 can't blocks. That's what I wanted.
Oh,
that'd
you
be
thought it
fucking
summoned 5
scary.
fours.
That would
I
be
think
very
I don't
scary.
think they wanted to make a really good card. I think they just wanted like a like a good little card to put in Reputation, like a little
Because
fun
right,
thing.
the earliest you can do Reputation is turn 2, right? You've got Waking Sands, you've got the
the
Glory
first hit?
Seekers itself. For sure, yeah.
Majin, what the fuck? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You want them to make 5/4?
He suggested that. I was there.
It's 6
mean-
mana,
No.
2 5/4s that can't block with no keywords. It can't be that good.
Now I
They
know,
have
bro.
Overwhelm now, don't they?
They're never doing
No,
the
they
fucking
don't.
round table again.
No, not
That's-
the Bonecrusher card. The 5/4 that can't block. The 3 mana guy. It's a 3 mana card. It's the same thing. It's
I
3
think-
mana.
I'm
I
with
think
you.
it's-
I'm with you. Push it.
Yeah. I think as well with Udyr being buffed, it makes it even worse. Because now you've got the ram stance or whatever it is. Like,
Okay, let's move it along. Next one, I like this one. 2 mana burst, Inner Beast. Give an ally +1/+1 this round. Create a stance swap in hand. I think this card is dope.
yeah.
Talking about me. Inner Beast.
I think it's a nice, bog standard card that Freljord needed.
Yeah,
Pump
I agree.
power in Freljord. Can you believe
Yeah.
that? That's crazy.
I think what Udyr was missing was just a few more ways of generating like stance swaps. But when I initially saw this card, I thought it was pretty underwhelming until I saw the Allseer buff.
Oh yeah,
So like without Allseer buff, I think this card's trash. But with it, it's at least okay.
well
not
as well
trash.
with Udyr's leveled up changing, which we'll probably go in a second.
If
It
Allseer
matters a
didn't
bit more.
exist, I wouldn't like this card.
It's a pale that always draws you stands, right? Just like how Vulpine Wanderer is a conchologist that always draws you stands.
But
Yeah.
stance
It's not
costs
bad.
3 mana.
Not when you play Udyr.
Stances are good though. What?
Again, like you said, is you play this for the 2 mana +1/+1 buff units out of like a bit of range, and then you just happen to get a stance. Like, does the stance always have to be like super impactful in the game? No, I don't.
Even
don't
just
think so.
having it in your deck makes your opponent like having to play around it like much more annoying, right? Like, how do you play around the pale? You're like, fuck, they have a pale here. I get blown out.
think-
Like,
Yeah, and stances are so like versatile. I think you know this versus any deck stance. You can pick whatever stance you want, sort of thing.
Yeah. I think a big thing is something that we've learned from the recent Vi Victor Udyr deck that has, sort of like took ladder by storm for a couple days. Stances are good. Stances are really good, especially when they're thrown on shit like bot or like Udyr or like Vi or even Victor, right? Like, so when we're getting good cards that generate stances, I mean, I don't know, this will probably be really good. And yeah, having to deal with like Ashe LeBlanc potentially buffing attack is like really scary because there are so many times where it's like they can't do extra damage, they can't ping me, I'm down to block this, and suddenly you can't.
okay,
Yeah.
next up, I'm trying to get the
Trying to get the your
the preview,
screen
yeah.
share on it. Yeah.
yeah. So next up we have Ashe. Looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like this one. What do you guys think? So now it's not when you frostbite an enemy, it's when you put its power to 0. So things like Troll Chant, etc.
It's a clear buff and a fantastic quality of life change.
Yeah. I
Shrima
think,
Ashe?
I think you're gonna see different variations. I think Zombie Ashe might make a return.
Zombie.
That was a really classic one that everyone loved.
Zombie Ashe with Nocturne?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. Now we're covering the chat.
I think a lot of the changes in this patch, I will say, is very
So you're doing a
fun,
bunch.
right? Even if it isn't exactly like meta dependent or good, I think most changes in this patch has opted for more. Like there's more stuff you can do with the champions now. the more versatile. There's you're updating the old champs to work with the new champs and the new cards and everything. I think it's just generally made the game more fun if it hasn't made better.
Yeah, a lot of things are like feel good changes, right? Like when you play this champ, it is now going to just feel better. Yeah, and like you said, it's gonna be a lot more flexible, which I really like. I think it's really nice, especially as we get more and more cards.
The other thing to keep in mind as we're going through these, there's like 6 buffs to reputation in this patch.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. Like this Ashe buff, it's like, oh, that's an okay Ashe buff. Yeah, but they buffed like half the deck. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Okay,
They
next
did
up.
nerf Omen Hawk though. It only hits 2 cards now. Did you see that?
Damn, that's crazy, bro.
I also at one point thought it was 3. It happened to me a few weeks ago. I was recording for a video, and the YouTube comments pointed out that I was stupid, and that it's always been 2. And I was like,
it's
what?
always been 2.
Dude, I still thought it was
Mandela
3.
effect. Yeah, it's the Mandela
it
effect.
is?
It's like it is literally the Mandela effect of LOR.
You know
It's
what it
very
is, Mon?
interesting.
I swear that it's Twitch chat. Because I've had Twitch chat tell me multiple times that Omen Hawk, old Omen Hawk was so good. And I just believed him. I'm like, oh, I guess before I played, Omen Hawk hit 3 units.
I swore it hit 3.
It's
so
no,
weird.
It's the allegiance. It's a
Allegiance
different
card
card,
hits 3.
right?
It's
It's,
always
I
hit
think
2.
I think it's the allegiance card, right?
But the Allegiance card only hits the top card.
It's the top card, but it's +3/+3.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just always thought it hit 3. We can skip the Darius.
It just
change.
seems
It's
so
not a
bad
real
at
change.
2. Yeah, so what is the Darius change? Just real
It's
quick.
for Path of Champions.
Path of Champions.
Oh, okay.
I think just real quick, I think that I have an issue with the way that Riot showed this Darius change and sort of setting expectations for this patch. Because coming into this patch, they were like, we're seeing really big champ reworks. That was a word that they used in an announcement. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'm expecting really big changes to champions. And when they have this graphic that has Darius is getting a buff, I don't think that this change is bad. I don't think that Darius necessarily needed a really big buff. But I think that you need to set expectations going into these patches. And when you set people's expectations really high, it doesn't matter what this changes. The fact that it only impacts Path of Champions makes people feel really shitty. And I think that we just need to, if in that graphic it had its own little thing, it's like Path of Champions update, or just some sort of an adjustment. Don't make people think that their favorite champion's getting buffed.
I think the graphic was just kind of like, honestly, if you want my opinion, the graphic was kind of like damage control because a lot of the patches already been leaked, so they just wanted to get a patch note and just have everything on there to just kind of like damage control it a bit, like, oh, here's a preview of the patch. I don't think, because they forgot 2 things off the patch notes. They just gave you everything. It's not preview, they gave you the patch. They didn't just give you the changes, right? I think maybe the graphic was just a bit rushed. I don't think they purposely made that because.
Yeah, I think Riot did a fantastic job. I think the graphic was beautiful, and I'm glad that they said they were going to give us the cards to slowly reveal towards the end there, and they chose not to because they know that we can't be trusted and we're not really adults. You guys nailed it, right? Good job.
But you got to remember as well is Darius got changed recently, if I'm correct, right?
He got buffed, yeah.
We say don't trust people. I'm sorry. I just, to be fair, these patch notes behind the scenes have kind of been making the rounds.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked they stayed this hidden for this long. So many people were in these calls. There was probably 40 people that knew or something. You can't keep a secret from 2 people.
In my Discord, 48 hours ago, in my Discord, someone dropped literally the changes.
The whole thing, yeah.
And for some reason, it didn't hit Reddit. It didn't hit Twitter. I don't know how on earth nobody saw this. But I'm just, for having the LPP roundtable, which I think is a great thing that they did to bring you guys in. Someone leaked, that's all I'm saying.
Oh, it was gonna leak for sure. Are you kidding? It was a whole month with 40 people.
You think anyone's gonna trust? They're gonna. The thing is you giving LPP people to a bunch of people in LOR community, and you expect them to respect NDAs.
to be
And they're
clear,
just gonna tell their friend, and then their
some
friend
people
tells their
did.
friend, and ooh,
right? Some people did, you
oh,
know,
thank
some
like
you.
people do for sure.
there are multiple times that I literally message Maj and I'm like, hey, I heard this change. Can you confirm or deny? And the man just fucking puts me on red. And I'm like, come
Didn't
on.
even
man."
respond.
I was gonna say because Kevor didn't get the leaks for a long
Whoa.
time.
What? Oh, just for Majin? Bro,
Wait,
how about you and
what?
I casting a tournament? And you're like, okay, Jason, just tell me the one thing. Just this one. Just need to know this
in
one
between
thing.
rounds-
Just
in
you,
between
me, and
rounds,
Sparkling
he
Iced
stuck there
Tea.
with me.
Just keep
I'm
it
trying
between
to
us.
get
I
him
was
to leak.
like,
Kato's such a fucking snake, dude. Holy moly.
I was testing, guys. I was testing you, you know?
Mhm.
That's really what it was.
yeah, he's actually been in the LPP this whole time. He's just undercover.
LPP.
He's
Oh,
weeding
for
people
Angel.
out.
Undercover
Okay.
LPP.
By
I
the
do want
way-
to point out something that people keep talking about in chat, and like we did a really bad job as the LPP people with expectations because we were hyping up the patch a lot. Because I am hyped about this patch. I think there's
Super
a ton of really fucking good things in this patch. I think this is a phenomenal patch. However, when I go out after seeing it and I say I think this is a phenomenal patch, what people hear is huge changes, especially because it's champion rework patch, right? So that's kind of on us, I guess.
Well, I think as well is when people say it's a good patch, they just assume that there's no small or bad changes, right? They
Mhm.
just assume that everything is big and everything is massive, and everything has the potential to change massively. When it's a good patch, it doesn't necessarily mean everything has to change drastically. Like one
Yeah.
small change is good.
Yeah,
But the
I mean,
problem
if you just
is
nerf Sundisk, if you just took the nerfs from this patch and that was the whole patch, it'd still be a fantastic patch.
You'd have to to be Pacific, you'd have to say, oh, I'm really hyped about XXX changes, like, and then from there it gets closer and closer to that border of spoiler. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
the
and
other
that's
thing
on
is that,
Riot.
like,
That's really on Riot, right? Because we're not supposed to say anything. Like we're supposed to just shut the f up. So like you were like, it's good, we like it. Like no more, no less. So like Riot was the ones that like communicated that the champ reworks were champ reworks, and this is what we
and
got.
the other thing is, like, when you guys are coming out and like you're saying, I like this patch. Well, other people are hearing, oh, this is a good patch. In their head, they're just filling in all these pieces with like, oh, they're fixing every issue that I have with the game.
That
So it
you
doesn't
have
matter
with the
what
game.
happens,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Yeah, it doesn't matter what happens. Everyone's going to be upset at that point.
I will
right?
say,
because you can't actually leak specific changes.
I've seen multiple leaks, and like some of them have been like drastically wrong. There's someone that from the APAC region who just did their own patch notes, and it's hilarious.
That's kind
and
of
he just
fucking
leaked them
goated.
out, and it was
Holy
great. And
I just
and
start
it
doing that. That'd be
was
fun.
drastic
If they
changes.
leak
Okay,
fake
we
patch
got to
notes,
keep moving. We got a lot. We got a lot to. We got a lot to cover. So next up, we got Galio. Goes from, I thought he was an 08. Was he 08 to 010?
level
It's level
two.
1.
No, it's a
like
level up.
07.
Oh, this is
So-
level 2.
So because obviously normal units gain +1/+1, at the moment Galio is only gaining +1 in his health. So to make up, he gains +2 because of Formidable.
Good change.
Simple change.
Small buff. Move along.
Cool. Garen, what's everyone think about Garen? Now
Garen's
we,
sick.
when I'm summoned, give other allies +1/+1 this round. Does not suck.
No. I think it panicked everyone when the typo was there, and we thought he got rallied in level 1.
Oh, I
But
missed
again,
that.
with elite buffs,
Yeah.
with elite buffs is good, and it does make the champion a bit better.
We'll
Wait,
see.
I
if not
think-
Grant. Could you imagine Grant?
If it was
Holy
Grant,
shit.
oh my god.
Oh, you busted. You're the
I think-
best.
Yeah,
Would be?
I
Like
think-
Bannerman's Grant, right? Now
Well, you
Grant,
just
don't
run
have to play
Bannerman
like a
into
lead
Garen and the
in.
game would be over.
I think the problem is when is the amount of time you're going to level up Garen and then play him again. It's not going to. I don't think it's going to see much change in Garen's gameplay, right? Like you'd have to kill off Garen and then you'd have to play a second Garen that's already leveled. It's not going to come out a lot of the time, but when it does, it'll just feel good. It's basically like what's it called? The rally card, the Relentless
Relentless
Pursuit
Pursuit.
on top of it.
Mm.
Is
I
it
think
is it
kind of.
elites or is it allies?
It's everyone.
It's
Yeah,
allies.
it's
Yeah,
allies,
I
yeah.
think
I
that's
think
really
It's
good.
it's other allies as well. It's not including himself.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is that if like elites is a playable archetype, this is a cool change. But like as far as hitting other Demacia decks, I think that this gets played as like maybe a 1 or 2 of in scouts. Just because it's like really good in the mirror and having like a big 5/5 with regen is like cool. And he's kind of like a shitty Genevieve. But I don't think that like you can really completely cut Quinn from it. So I don't know what decks he's hitting.
I don't think you can run 1 or 2 of because you have to level them up first for them.
No,
you
his
have to
level
s-
1 has it. His level 1 has it.
Yeah.
Oh, his level 1 has it.
Yeah, I
Okay,
was
then-
wondering where you
Yeah.
were getting the second character from.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was a
like,
good
wait,
idea there.
You don't
Say
need
on
to
the-
pump
Like,
twice.
it doesn't say on the new effect, but
Yeah,
it
it
says in
doesn't.
card
Sorry, I'm
text.
just.
Oh.
It's 2 a.m. Okay, give me some
Yeah,
slack.
I
they
think they were
freaked out
also-
when they had the typo,
yeah,
so
They
they
freaked
You
out when
actually
they
have
typoed.
you have to level it and then play it again.
Okay.
No,
I was gonna
actually,
say.
even okay, I want to say like even if a lot of these changes don't make a lot of these cards tier 1, and that's okay, you know. I think that's going to come up a lot. People are going to be like, well, does this really change anything? It's like, yeah, it makes the champion like way more fun to play. It makes the champion actually do something.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's like enough for now.
just a small segue. I found the card that we all thinking of, the Omen Hawk. It's shared spoils that grants the top 3.
That's right.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, next up, the Karma level up. Now, when she levels, she still creates a random spell from your regions at round end, which I think is absolutely fantastic. There's nothing worse than playing Ezreal Karma that's slamming her on like the last turn and then just having no cards left in hand, being like, damn it, gotta get her down quick.
Yeah, it should have been there for a long time.
Yeah.
I think.
So this is nice.
This was something
Yeah.
I didn't even think of, and then like I've obviously thought about, been like, damn, I really wish I could get one more turn without enlightened. But like, yeah, then they changed it, and I was like, oh yeah, they can just do that.
Yeah.
Spooky Karma likes this a lot because Spooky Karma runs into that
Any
problem.
Karma likes this a lot.
I think the
Exactly.
Targum
Like,
one doesn't give a fuck.
I
At
think
the end
the
of the
big thing
day-
is that you're just like allowed to play deep med before turn 10 now, right? Because like before you had to like hold deep med or hold time trick until you get Karma out there so you can actually double up. And now it's
Yeah.
like, okay, we'll get more value later on. If I have to cast deep med on turn 8 to not die, it's okay. I can cast it.
Yeah, it's a good change. I think random spells are good sometimes.
Do you guys think a Karma deck could go back to being like tier 1 or a tournament staple now?
God, I hope not.
The reason I
And
don't
that
think so
doesn't
is
change what fundamentally like. It doesn't change Karma decks at all, right?
if you look at when Karma Ez was meta and Karma now, the pool of like spells that are useful are so like reduced because you've got a lot of spells that are just duds now. So I think the pool is big enough in spells for it not to like make it too OP.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but I mean,
good spells now too.
There's good spells now, yeah, for
I
sure,
think-
but there's also a lot of bad spells
I think
that no
as we've
one's
seen,
played.
from like Bandle City, hitting some of these random like very niche cards is like fine. Like Dragon's Rage is kind of fucking goated sometimes.
Insane.
And
It's
Donna
more than
does.
fine.
Or you just like hit a fucking star shaping for free. Like I
just
saw
hit Health
Majin
Pot
do
every
that.
time. I don't know what you guys are
Like-
talking about.
Yeah. My man's against aggro on like fucking turn
Health
8
Pot.
generates a star shaping. It's like, come on.
Easy game. Don't see what your guys' problem is.
Easy game. Okay, moving
Yeah,
on.
we'll see.
Katarina. So now she makes a Blades Edge.
She makes
On
a
level
0
2.
mana Blades Edge on level 2.
I was surprised reading through some of the Twitter comments how many people love Katarina. Like love Katarina. They thought Katarina's gonna get a super big nerf. I think it's just, they'll take their 0 mana blade and they'll leave, you know what I mean?
Pretty big. It's a pretty big. The thing is, and like I've said this a million times, is like you cannot buff Katarina as she is.
Yes.
And then I was talking, we all talked to, well, not all of us, but we talked to Riot about it. And they told us, they're like, trust me, we want to rework Katarina. The problem is like, we have to try to figure out how to do it well. And they're like, Katarina, we've spent more money on Katarina than anything else in Runeterra. Because we spend so many man hours trying to fix her
Oh,
or
that's
make
so
her work. And they're
good.
like, and we're still working on it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is why this change is scary. Because this isn't a fundamental rework. This is still the fundamentally broken champion that is not allowed to be good, that just got a strict buff. It's a little bit scary. I don't know if it's enough, but I don't like that they're buffing her. I'd rather she just be unplayable forever if they're not going to rework her.
It's just a one of funny haha like in some text, and that's good enough for me.
You know,
Okay,
like
moving on.
when when Lay's had like their suggest like a flavor competition kind of things, and like if you win, they'll implement it. They should do something like that for like Katarina reworks.
Katarina, just
I'm sure there'll
design
be
as
some
Katarina.
interesting things
Just
that
ask
come up.
Sunny to make a video on it or something. Oh, did he already did that. He already did that.
Yeah.
All right.
LeBlanc
LeBlanc.
change.
LeBlanc.
LeBlanc.
LeBlanc is huge.
So it's when I level up, and each time I see you deal 15 plus damage, create a mirror image in hand. If you already have one, reduce its cost by 1.
So it gains a mirror image on level up.
on
Yeah.
level up, which it did not before. You had to
Which
deal
it did not
30
before.
damage that she had to
Yeah, you had to deal an additional 15 damage.
Yeah, it's huge.
Apparently, there's some audio that keeps going off on your stream. but
Yeah, I
can't
just
hear it
I
on
just
this.
I just turned it off.
Okay.
Dope.
This is such a big buff. I just want to run the reputation rally guy. That guy's so tight.
Yeah.
Like LeBlanc wasn't bad. Like
No.
when she started doing her thing, that her thing that she's doing is like really strong.
It's really
These mirror
fucking
images
good.
is really
Mhm.
strong.
Yes.
And okay, so here's the secret.
Oh.
Sion got buffed. When you start mirror imaging Sion and then he dies in rallies, like I am just saying that this is
Nope.
fucking
Nope.
scary.
I'm
Don't
gonna
want it.
build that for you.
Don't want
Wait,
it. No.
I think-
Dislike.
think what I s-
Bad.
I think what I will say is obviously LeBlanc is probably one of the hardest level champion to level in the game, in my opinion. I think you either need a lot of spells to back it up, and you have to dedicate a lot to the level up, or you just need to hope your opponent has 0 interaction.
I mean, I don't know. I've seen her level plenty of times. I don't know about you guys, but I've seen her level lots.
I think
I
well,
think-
she leveled before.
I think LeBlanc's leveling a lot because
You don't
can just
care.
jump block her
Yeah.
forever, and there's no like downside really, except for 1 extra health.
but
But
now
now, like when she levels up, you have to stop that. So
Yeah.
now I guess there's gonna be more emphasis on that. Whereas like I'll just chump block her for a few turns, and then she'll just die off sometime
Yeah.
before she gets like.
Quicksand
real-
also wasn't played as much.
That's true
Yeah.
as well.
well as well is that that's the fact is LeBlanc wasn't a threat until she did the 30 damage.
Yeah.
You could just keep jump
I don't know why
blocking
you
her.
say it's hard to level her. Like the bitch has fucking troll champ backing her up every single time. If you play her in Shurima, you have quicksand backing her up now. You have
Yeah,
desert duel.
But
You
people
have
also
the
are running
the
opposite.
reputation strike spell, bloody business.
Bloody business.
She's leveling up. Let's be
Yeah, I know,
clear. She's
but,
leveling
like
up.
she's leveling you up, okay, but she's not leveling up until you have a lot of mana banked. You know?
Okay,
There's
Turtle,
a
you
lot of
said
ways
you
to do
said
that, right?
hardest champion to level though.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is.
Oh
Look, like,
my
in a
God.
meta, I think it is. You got
I think that's
Mystic Shot
cap.
kills it.
Just vengeance or lol.
Yeah.
Just-
Just dies the Mystic Shot, bro. Easy.
Also,
Okay.
If-
Next up,
It's like-
let's just
if you
keep
don't-
going.
If
Just keep
don't
going.
You don't
every
level LeBlanc.
champion-
We got lots to get through. Leona. Now she has overwhelm when she levels up. Thank God. Give my
did
girl
it.
some overwhelm.
Yeah.
Does this matter?
It's
No.
cool. I don't think it
Yeah.
does
Oh
matter.
no, I think it matters. I've put a lot of Leona in my time. Whether or not she'll be like
You have.
good or good enough. Yeah, bro. I put a bunch of Leona. I love Leona. And one of the problems was like she level and then just like kind of do nothing. Like just
No,
Should-
no. I think Leona.
I'd rather have a
is an-
Sunhawk.
Leona's a back row engine, right? Like,
Well, now she's a back row beat your ass engine.
That's
She was
right.
in there.
but like,
Hmm.
it's not like Leona rarely like gets buff. So like a 4 mana like attacker, even if you block or don't block, it's like whatever. Like you're gonna have a wide board anyway. So like overall on Leona, it's, sure, but
Well,
It's-
we knew this was in the
full buff
works,
anyways.
right? Because this was accidentally released in one of the patches, and then they had to revert it. It's like a couple patches ago, if you remember.
I mean, that was
Leona's
Oh, yeah.
just got-
months ago.
yeah.
think-
So they've been sitting on this for a while.
I've been saying forever that like Daybreak's not that bad, and it's like really close to
No,
being
no, I think
really good.
Daybreak's really
it does
good.
like disgusting things. So like any buff is like good, you know, and
Mhm.
like this archetype's not that far off from being really good. But I mean, I don't know if this matters.
This is one of those. It's not going to make it tier 1, but now Leona doesn't feel so dog shit to play.
Yeah.
Yes.
Leona was such a bad card.
wait, Leona's so good. What?
I think it is a big emphasis on you have to block it with meaningful blockers now, right? Because the problem is a lot of these champions, a lot of these things, once the level effect is done, you just block it with weak stuff. And obviously, Leona's going to be stunning. Obviously, Leona's going to be stunning the strongest enemy, right? So you will be stunning like the big strong enemies, and then going through the little enemies. Like it works. It's
The big
Yeah.
problem was like you would cast the +2/+2 Morning Light, which is an absolute house of a card, by the way. When you have
It's
like
really
Raven, that
fucking
card's nuts. You'd stun a bunch of stuff, and then they'd block your stuff with House Spider, and you would do no damage.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was your turn. It
Now
was
you can
like,
actually
just
push some
couldn't kill
damage.
people.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, moving on. What do you guys think of this one? So Malphite now, when he comes into play, he stuns something, right?
This is so huge.
It's
so
ridiculous.
So it's like if I'm correct, it's like Sentry, so it's instant cast.
It's exactly
Yeah.
Sentry.
Yeah. So
the best part is
you
you
can
don't
Malphite
feel,
defensive turn now.
right. Like you can play on defensive turn and not feel bad about it. I think that's like the biggest change to it, which is insane.
I think what's really important is playing it on offensive token. I think that
Oh,
you
yeah.
can drop them on offensive token, and your opponent is kind of checkmated because they don't want to develop into your real stun. So then, like, they just pass, and then you can swing in.
Yeah, that as well.
Again, though, I don't think Malphite was bad, so this is like it's kind of scary.
Yeah, is Grandpa Roji like just like running like
Oh, yeah,
topless in
he
the
has no
streets
idea.
somewhere, just like doing
somewhere
victory
celebrating.
laps, just
He's 3
fucking.
bottles of champagne in already.
Yeah, right. When I saw this like a month ago, I was like, oh, Grandpa. Roji. I was like, should I start playing some Malphite Talia maybe? Get some reps in. I didn't.
He's way better now. Like that's such a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When Malphite comes down, like he kills you. Right.
It's a change that's needed, though. Again, I think like you put down this massive 7 mana 6/10, and before this patch, you're just laughing at him. Now he's an actual threat, which I think for a 7 mana champion needs to be.
I don't know if you laughed at him. There's a lot of decks that Malphite Talia just crushed. Like
Sure, you don't
need
laugh
roll
at him most
deck.
of the time, but now
There was two options. Either like you killed them or they killed you. The game was going to end pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The game is already over when you drop Malphite level.
Nah, not if they don't have enough mana, or if you can counter
If it's on-
that.
Yeah, if it's
Or
on
if they
your
don't have
turn, you
2
usually just
mana,
don't
yeah.
care. You're just gonna go around it.
But like playing unleveled Malphite somehow, if you get to this point with the Malphite deck, it feels alright. It feels okay, you know.
Okay, moving on. My
Great
boy
change.
Nasus. Let's go. Why in God's name did he ever get fearsome taken away from him? Like
Fuck off, he was
Jesus.
broken. Come on.
Why
He's
is
He
He
was
got
not
fearsome
broke.
back.
Even now, I don't think Thresh Nasus is going to be like a tier 1 deck or anything. Like this just makes it actually playable now. I think maybe it moves it up into like high tier 2, and I can actually play it without like crying in between some games.
I still think Nasus was like not that bad. This is, I do think this is needed. I want Nasus back.
To be
But,
clear,
like,
I think this is a big buff. I think
It
that
is.
this
Huge.
It
matters.
is.
It's fucking huge.
The issue is that the meta is going to be Aphelios, and I don't think
Yeah.
you can ever beat anything Aphelios
That's what
plays.
I
Ban.
was saying too.
I think you're
Yep.
kind of
Ban.
fucked.
Ban that motherfucker. Actually, I know you could be Aphelios decks. You could be Aphelios decks. What you have to do is you keep running into them.
You just run Thresh Nasus, right?
And then they
you just
sever him, and then
So what? You stunned it for 1 turn?
It is hush block.
so they
Yeah.
like,
So
know, they
you
do this weird thing where
you
they
run like
sever
2
their
hushes
eye.
tops, right? And so what you do is you try to set it up so that they have to use them before you atrocity them. And so yeah, matchup's still bad. Ban that shit in tournaments.
Well,
I-
as well as
sever
like someone said
eye.
in chat, a lot of the Nasus support cards are already pretty nerfed anyway. I think
Yep.
I think you have quicksand with him now in a
Ew.
fresh Nasus, which will be cool.
I mean, you can also just run like a really slow, grindy, like ultra value or like.
Like Zillion.
I still
perhaps?
think
Zillion
I still
Nexus,
think Thresh Nasus is going to be the only way you can play him, in my opinion.
like
Yeah.
playing Nasus after Ruination now is like scary, right? Because now they need to put down a fearsome blocker or something like that. Like fearsome blocker is just a huge deal.
I actually played a bunch of Thresh Nasus, like what was it, last season? I think. Yeah.
Because if you think about Nasus now with quicksand,
thinking about him.
You
Okay.
can -2 attack to 2 of the blockers, and you can pretty much
Yeah.
guarantee a face attack.
That's true.
With
Yeah. One of the
quicksands.
big problems I had with playing the deck was that he got chump blocked a bunch by like 1/1s and stuff.
Yeah.
It was just like, fuck.
Like quicksand with him is a genuine threat for sure.
That's fair. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's decent. Okay,
That's
love
it.
it. Love it.
I'm just gonna wallop his ass. Like I don't give a fuck.
How dare you? How dare you do that to my boy? He's a good boy. Okay, good doggo. All right, next
Oh,
up,
boy.
Nocturne. Oh baby.
Nick
Yes.
Makes Plays and I argued about Nocturne and Nightfall for like straight up 30 minutes on
God,
my
oh
stream.
god.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say in the round table because
No, that too.
Nick
A
was
little bit.
definitely out
Oh
of it.
boy, on
Swinging
stream today we
sabers
went at
across
it,
the
man.
table.
Because like this is okay. So this isn't like really a buff, right? This is like Maokai. It's like not really a buff, but like
Whoa,
kind of.
whoa.
It's like a
Come
quality of
on.
life buff. Unless you're gonna play Harrowing, is that what you're gonna say?
No, fuck Harrowing. No, Nocturne Azir though. Nocturne Azir because you get to summon the Sand Soldier. So at burst speed, you're removing all of the opponent's attack. And
Where
you
you
turn them
get your
off
Nightfall
Not
units from?
Nocturne Hecarim.
Nocturne Hecarim's
Hecarim.
actually unironically
Yeah.
really fun.
Nocturne Hecarim, I can actually see
kinda
being
sick.
good.
No, but with you could play Doom Beast and Stygian Onlooker and Fading Memories and
Bukai
Unto
Reaper.
Dust.
So okay,
No,
so
that's
we should
not-
tell
that's-
everyone
that's
the
just
change
some
for anyone that
fun
doesn't know. It's
Okay.
changed from play
Yeah.
to summon. Gives
Yeah.
Nocturne, the opponent gets all their units get -1, -0.
I
That's cool.
said I think Nightfall is actually rather good. I think it's top of tier 2. And Nick said it's like tier 3 unplayable trash.
I think Duckling would have something to say about that.
Nick's opinion on the problem is like right. Nick was like the one of the OG Nightfall players, right? So when it's not really good, he just calls it tier 3 trash.
And also, I mean, they haven't
It's-
nerfed I yet, so like, how could it
It's
possibly be
played.
good, right?
Like
Yeah, they
especially,
did.
I will say though, Dinah's not playing Nightfall, and if it was tier 2, Dinah would be playing Nightfall. That's
To be
all I
clear,
can say.
Duckling hit like 650 LP like last week.
Only Nightfall.
Oh, yeah,
Only
for sure.
Nightfall.
Let's
the whole
not
season.
pretend that this deck's unplayable.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Nightfall was good, right? Because that's why like Pirates was like when stuff like that, Aggros and stuff. You could just a lot of the decks that run on aggro, learn on ladder, you could just run them over. I think the thing with like a Nocturne Hecarim is it's gonna be slower.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could run like Whale and shit, you know?
It's true. Okay, moving on.
Cool.
Not run Hecarim.
Sion, man, I am
Scar
not. I do not love when Sion is good. What do you guys think? Where's Sion at now?
It's whatever.
It's a bit better, and it might be enough to see him back. I
I'm a
think
Sion
as well
hater.
as
Fuck Sion.
Oh, thank God, finally.
Sion wasn't taken out the meta because he became an 8-4. That's not the reason why he became out the meta.
I mean,
he became out the meta
That's part of
because
it.
I mean, it's a small part of it. I think
He
for
would have come
sure.
back. He absolutely would have come
Yeah, I
back.
mean,
It's like
now
a
you're
tier 1
jamming-
deck if
It's-
he were still a 10 attack.
I
I
just think-
guarantee that.
Oh, for sure. But what I'm saying is Sion would still see play with 8-4 in the right meta, right?
But now you're just jamming Sion into like Aphelios decks now, right? So
Yeah.
you get a little bit of a carrot here, but then like your matchups, like who knows?
This is just a band-aid fix. We've said it, or I've said it forever at least. Sion is fundamentally broken because he breaks the game when he comes down flipped because your opponent can never attack again. Like board-based strategies cannot deal with Sion unless you have like Hush or Mini Morph or whatever. And as long as that happens, as long as he comes down flipped on turn 7, that's fundamentally broken, and it's going to be an issue. He needs to change his level up condition to like 40 or some shit. There we go.
Yeah, I want the Kata.
That's fair.
Okay,
Mhm.
moving on. Udyr went from being a
boy.
4-4 to a 5-4. Oh, I thought. Why did I think he was like a 6-4 or something? I thought they decided to add one more extra point of power.
Yeah,
He originally
he was
didn't.
he was a 4-4 and a 5-5. Now he's a 5-4 and a 6-5.
He's talking about in the round table. No, they didn't have any power increase in the round table, and we were like, "Hey,
Oh.
this is like almost good," and they're like, "Okay."
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, yeah. Then later on, they told us about the buff power. Okay, so level up condition. You damage the enemy nexus 7+ times this game, which is kind of weird. You've played stance swap 3+ times this game. Oh, sorry. Okay,
It's
they
the new
switched
one.
it. Yeah,
That's
they
the
switched it to you've played stance swap 3+ times this game.
Brilliant.
I've
Lauren has
never
never read
who
the card
plays with
before this
Udyr? Like
Brilliant
what?
change. You guys are underestimating Udyr.
Okay, so 5 mana 5/4, played 3 stance swaps, and he levels when he's summoned or strike, create a stance swap in hand, or if you have one, reduce its cost to 0. Levels up to be a 6/5. I think
There's
he might be
more-
good now.
There's more stance in the game. There's the change that we're going to go over in a bit that keeps stances at 0 mana. Good change. I can see him in the meta
Yeah. What do you guys think?
doing pretty
He's
well.
better. I think I don't think that these changes matter that much to Udyr. I think the important thing is the 2 mana card is really good, and then the 6 mana 5/5 that makes it so that the first stance you cast every round is now free. I think those are like what makes this card better.
Well,
My chat tried to convince me that Reputation Udyr though, because now he has 5 attack.
well, I
So
think
keep an eye out for that.
I think it's more with every other change as well.
Pretty funny.
I mean, you could get some funny stuff where you have Black Rose Spy copy of Udyr that's a mega
Like
buffed
mirror
and
imaging, like
you
a
get 2 of them. And
10 stance Udyr.
Yeah, well, you can Black Rose spy it, right? And then you
All
get double
all I'm gonna
that,
say is
and
I
then-
lost to Strathus pile more times than I care to admit. So
I think what I will say is you're pretty much gonna level up Udyr so much quicker, and the decks that Udyr has to be in now don't have to damage the Nexus, and I think that's huge, right? Because
Yeah.
before you were kind of forced to take a Ram stance or to play some sort of deck that would deal damage to the Nexus, whereas now you can play Udyr in a lot more stuff because you can use it more for the regen and then the building up the units and reliably leveling.
I still don't think Udyr's a good card.
next we've got
He's good, it's because
Vlad.
of the other cards, right?
I think the other cards are better than Udyr.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
That happens.
Udyr's just kind of there.
Okay,
It's still nice value.
Vladimir now has Fearsome, which is pretty huge.
Cool. Woo. All right.
Plus he has regen at level 2. Did he always have
always
regen
have
at level
yes,
2?
he always
Yeah,
has
yeah,
regen.
yeah.
level two.
Okay.
Cool change.
It's a cool
Yeah,
change. It's a good
ooh.
change. Very good change. He's still not good, but
It's a recurring theme is they want less chump blockers against some of these champions, right? If you look, like I've been like saying again and again and again, they're just making changes so you have to deal with the threat of it, even if it's not that threatening. It means you just can't run like a 1/1 spider into it and don't care.
Well, yeah, it's because it just makes them so bad, right?
yeah, it just makes them not do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you got to block with real units if you want to
Yeah.
block, where you take 5, right? Not counting the drain.
Here's my hot take.
Okay.
I think
Tell
that
me.
with this change and with all the support for like Udyr that came out last patch, like the 3/2 that pings the Nexuses and the Bone Squire, I think that there's a Freljord Noxus burn deck that just counts to 20 and like might be okay.
Are you saying that deck has Vladimir?
It might. I mean, Vladimir's better. I think that if I were making it, I would start out.
Yeah, a burn
I
your
would
face.
start out with Vladimir.
Okay, here's the thing. Scarground's decks did see some tournament play as silver bullets for certain strategies, right? So I
They
mean,
still
this
will, and they'll be
yeah.
better now.
I think that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they'll be better now. They kind of fell out for a while because they just got sort of power crept a bit. I mean, the metas weren't good for them, but yeah, I'm happy to see this. I think it's cool.
It's cool.
Okay. Sorry, you got something?
What's up?
I was gonna say it's like they're saying in the descriptions. Vlad had a bloody hard time dealing with chump blockers, so obviously they've in it themselves.
Yes. Okay, next up, Ambush went from 2 mana to 3 mana. I don't think this is actually that big of a deal. There's like occasional time when you'd exactly 2 and you'd ambush, but a lot of times the ambush decks would just like slam this with a bunch of mana later on. What do you guys think?
This
I
was
think
some
it
other
really
changes,
hurts.
is just slowing the deck down.
Yeah, it's just slowing
Yeah.
the deck down.
I'm
right?
happy to see it, don't get me wrong, but like I'm thinking if you want to play an ambush deck, like probably still can. I think Ballistic Bot is the bigger nerf.
I think it's
What
a
do you mean? You
huge
got
nerf towards
buffed.
the
You
Riven
can
deck.
play it with Tri-Beam now. No, but,
I think like the Riven deck feels this a lot because there are a lot of turns where you're spending like all of your mana playing all your blade fragments to flip Riven.
Yes.
It's
Like, I think that this
timing
matters.
perfectly.
for sure. I think the
Mm,
Yeah,
one
let's
change-
be real. It obviously does matter, but like, I've played Riven Victor a crap ton this season, and like you're typically not playing all your blades and an ambush on the same turn. And if you did, it's like turn like fucking 7 or some shit. Like you had a bunch of mana. There are times when it'll hurt, of course.
My opponents always do that, and then I
think-
fucking die.
They had extra mana, you just didn't notice. You're just so dead. You're like cogwheel
I
out of here.
I think
already
as
on
well.
Twitter.
I think as well as is. I think this is really good for the future as well because a lot of these changes have got a prepping for the next patch as well, and I think ambush at 2 will cause an issue at some point.
Yep.
If
It
we
already
didn't change
has,
it
no?
now.
I would be honest with.
I mean, it
I
already
think that
did.
I think that good players weren't losing to ambush that often anyway. Especially with like quicksand getting buffed. Every fucking region has a way to deal with like random elusives. You just have to plan a turn or two ahead, right?
Mhm.
I think that this just like nerfs Fade HG being able to climb up in like week 1. I think this is I don't like this nerf, especially in a region where it's already competing with another 2 mana card that fucking grants elusive. Like, I don't know, bro.
Are you talking
I'm
about
super down
map?
with this nerf. I'm with Turtle. I think this nerf, Yordle and Arms and Ballistic Bot nerfs are like, they're almost like the rummage nerf. Like you have to nerf these effects at some point because like when the card pool gets so much bigger, they just continue to get better forever.
Yeah, I just
Bot
don't.
was literally unplayable before this last patch. It was
And
unplayable
it's
for
just
like
gonna
Bot
continue to get
has
better
been-
forever.
like
Bot
literally
has
since
been-
Worlds.
But bot has been playable. I don't know. I think the one attack on bot, again
not
is just
bad.
to slow it down a bit.
Yeah.
What deck
Like-
were you playing bot in before the Victor buff?
You
What?
weren't,
Please,
but now you
name
are.
me
That's
a
what I'm
deck.
saying.
You were
As
playing
time
it
goes
as
on,
you were playing
it
it
just
as
gets better and
Draven.
better and better
It
and
was a
better and better.
staple in as Draven.
Oh, Edge Draven, the deck that hasn't been played since Worlds.
You don't play bot as Draven.
I mean, you
That-
did play
like,
bot
no,
as
that
Draven.
wasn't. That's not a thing. This
old
card
Edge
was
Draven.
fucking unplayed, and I hate the change to bot. We're about to go into bot where it has 0 attack.
I love this change. I
This
love
is an
this
awful
change.
change because this doesn't change Victor decks. Victor
We
decks
so
don't care about
disagree.
it. If we're worried about Victor decks, this doesn't nerf it. This nerfs every other deck in the fucking world that wants to play Ballistic Bot, like TF Nami, like fucking any other deck in the
Aphelios
game,
Victor.
because it can't block now.
No, that's still
Aphelios
Victor deck.
but you aren't running Victor in there if you right. You're just playing like a real champion like Vi. But no, I hate this nerf. I think it's so stupid. It's not hitting the decks that are like actually making Ballistic Bot an issue.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Well,
I think it
yeah.
is. I think it
No,
is.
I think I get his
You think
point. though,
Victor
'cause
cares
I think
about
I think
this?
with ambush,
I'll say my part later. Sorry.
Go on. I say with ambush, you actually had like because you were only running ambush in like the OTK decks, and that was okay pushing the bear out. But he does have a point. If you're playing Ballistic,
Oh, we
Oh,
lost him.
Oh, someone
Then-
check and make
Oh,
sure
it
that
just
England.
makes
Oh, he's back.
everything worse.
Sorry, you cut off right there. Okay,
No,
Bay, what was your point?
So you're slowing down these decks like half a turn, and basically you're making like no play bot on 2, like super, like not super punishable, but like way more punishable, right? You're a lot weaker to like go wide aggro in the beginning. It's not like the ambush decks like really didn't need to be like hit super hard, but this is just it's slowing it down like half a turn.
Yeah.
And
It doesn't.
I think
No,
that's fine.
but wait, the ambush decks are fucking overkilling you every time anyway. If bot is hitting you, you're dead anyway. So like, it does not affect the ambush deck.
Yeah, but now
At
I get to
all.
attack through bot. You play bot, I attack you. That's
Yeah,
the big change.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think that the Victor deck like cares at all.
I think
Because
as
they're
well as
outracing you anyway.
I
right?
think
Like-
as well as we're gonna have to like as much as it's kind of sucks to say we're gonna have to see what the next set of cards take. We're just gonna have to see what the next set of cards take. I think a lot of the times if you look in the future of like buffs like these and nerfs like these, they're normally saying, hey, this is a bit of an issue now, and we feel like it might be an issue later.
Yeah, I'm with
Maybe.
that. Like I think there's several cards that you can look at and you can be like, this card is just gonna cause problems in the future. Rummage was like that. I think that like Ambush is one of those cards. I think Ballistic Bot's one of those cards. I think Poro Cannon's one of those cards, and I think Nami's one of those cards. Like I think these kind of
Just
cards.
got
only ever
Nikito
get-
over there, hey? Jesus.
Well, he likes to play busted ass cards, and like
Nami got like quadruple nerf this patch, by the way. Like it's kind of insane.
Okay, next up, Blood for Blood. Used to be fast, I guess. Now is Burst. This is the deal 1 to an allied follower. If it survives, create a copy of it in hand for 2 mana. I actually really like this card. I love generating it off of like Concologist or whatever. And just
it
like
is fun. And make another one. Not anymore. Now
it's
kill
not
it.
anymore, no.
It's a good tech. I think you might see some creative use of this card. It might see some play in a deck where it has really creative use.
Is this
But I think-
Vlad's champ spell?
No,
No.
Vlad's spell is transfusion.
It's transfusion.
Yeah,
Oh.
Noxus already had bad sharp sight. Now they have bad iterative. It's great.
Yeah.
I like this
It's
card.
conditional
I-
iterative, right? Like conditionally better sometimes.
I wish. No, it's not. I mean, I guess if.
Well, I mean,
Or
if you play
something
if you
with
play
it
yeah,
and
if you
package.
play it in a deck like a Scarground, you can
Or
burst and then
Crimsons.
summon it and then play the whatever you copy.
the change I would have preferred. I would have preferred that this could target opponents. I think that'd be really fucking cool.
You just
Like you're
copy
deciding
your
if you want to
boy
ping
on ladder.
and like kill something or get a copy of it. It's iterative, but like kind of
It's
cool.
even better iterative. You just like, well, I guess conditionally
to
better,
choose,
conditionally
right?
worse.
I
like
like
that.
that. Really cool change.
I think that might cause issues though because
That'd be
you could just you
insane
could
ass card.
you could ping like a Captain Farron and then you could what's it called? Then you could,
Yeah, you could iterative a Captain Ferret. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah,
Well,
but the
you- no,
difference
you
is
ping it and you
and then
scorch
yeah,
it, and then
you
you play your
scorched
own.
Earth.
Oh,
I
wait,
know,
that's
it'd be
so
cool,
insane.
right?
Yeah.
I think
Oh
it'd
my
be
god, I
really
didn't
fucking
even
cool.
think about that.
I
But
think it'd be really
broke
fucking
it.
cool.
It would be
It's the
really
problem.
fun.
Okay, but like if you ping an X1, you don't get anything, right? So you're setting up like you're very much.
You're
setting
never
up, like,
ever pinging an
block and
X one
scorched.
though.
Well, that's not true. You could like a 5/1. You know, the card that summons 2 5/1.
Sometimes
That's
you have
right.
to.
Yeah.
I think it would be a really fucking cool change.
I'm with you, kid. Okay, moving on. Buried Sun Disc. So now when you level up a champion, instead of advancing 10, it advances 9. So you have 2 extra ticks that you have to get off if you level up your champions. So what was the fastest you could do it before? Turn 6?
6.
Turn 5.
Mm,
Well, turn
No,
6.
you
Yeah,
have to.
technically.
Yeah, it's turn 6.
Yeah, if you did it 5, you had to wait 1 turn, right?
mm.
So now the earliest you can do is turn 8,
Unless you accelerate.
unless you accelerate.
Unless you play something like Time in a Bottle or Steam Hierophant, which everyone's going to say, they'll be like, we'll just play one of these. And like, yeah, you're right, but now you have to play shit cards in your deck that aren't your champions, your landmarks, or interaction, and it slows you down, and this is a fantastic change.
And early, so just
Do
give me
I
an extra
think-
turn. So like turn 7, turn 8.
Do I
Go ahead,
think
Carol.
Mono Streamer is dead because of this change?
Absolutely.
No. Do I still think it's a really, 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 really good deck? Yeah,
It's just like it's a very good tourney deck now, right? It's an anti-control kind of thing.
It's fantastic.
I think
deck.
like this just alleviates like ladder a lot because it's like TLC, right? Where TLC just like suppressed a lot of decks because you couldn't play anything slower. And now you get 2 extra turns. Some decks get to come out of the woodworks again. And
I
that's a
think
cool
as
thing.
well. It's 2 turns, by the way. I think it's not
Yeah,
just the
we
one
said
yeah,
turn.
it goes from 6
Leo.
to 8.
I think as well as much as it's going to sound very salty, I think you're going to have to play the matchup a lot better as well. You have to play the deck a lot better. Like with this deck at the moment, before the changes, you could do really, really dumb plays and really dumb stuff and get away with it.
Mhm.
Now the margin to get away with it is a lot less. I think
Also,
those 2 turns can really change a game.
Also, Atlas made a good point in chat. He said, bro, I can't even beat Sundisk with Pirates right now. And it's like, but now you can. That's
Yeah.
the point of this change.
Yeah.
You're not going to start beating it with a Nivea all of a sudden, but that's not what this change is for, right?
Yeah, the aggro decks that should be beating it but weren't beating it are actually beating it now.
Or even
They're
the
now gonna
mid-range
beat
decks,
it.
right? Like now, like Ascended Xerath comes down 2 turns later, and now suddenly can actually get through the board.
Just to clarify, people in chat, it's 9 for both, so you'd only skip 18 instead of 20. I see some people saying it's only 1 less,
Mhm.
but
And then they go 18 plus 7 is 25, but you don't tick down on the first turn.
yeah, it doesn't take down the first turn.
Yeah, you go to 24 on turn 2.
Maybe you don't margin. I mean, come
Oh,
on.
yeah. Good players do. You know what? If I prismatic my Sundisk, then it would.
If you don't
Okay.
have on this, you just bad the game. It was free.
Moving
Yeah,
along,
it's
Callous
like-
Bonecrusher. So this is the 4 mana 6/4 reputation that costs 3. When I'm summoned, now grant me Overwhelm.
This is Rico Rex's love child. This is like everything he ever wanted in a card ever.
This is real. This went from like the shittiest, laughablest card to like a real.
Pretty
card.
damn good now, hey?
It's pretty decent.
I mean, it's basically, if you're going to compare it to anything, it's a mini Room Runner, right?
You have to enable reputation though, or it does
Yeah,
not
so
have.
you're playing
overwhelm.
this on like turn 5,
For
6,
sure,
like 5
like-
the earliest, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
5 at the earliest. Yeah.
But like
I
also
f-
just being able to curve out on turn 5 like a 2-drop into Callous Bonecrusher. It's kind of nuts.
It's aight.
I'm
Okay.
still not sure you're like super stoked to play. I think if there's like a Shurima Noxus one, that would play it.
Yeah.
I don't think the Freljord variation.
Well, yeah, it's super
Well, you
LeBlanc, right?
you could run some sort of Sivir deck, right? Like you've got.
That's what I'm saying.
Sivir,
Yeah, the
you've got
LeBlanc
your-
Sivir,
the-
like reputation deck of old.
the
Yeah.
Bruiser, the 5/5, like possible.
Next up, we have Hyara Allseer. When I'm summoned, create a stance swap in hand. It costs 0 this round. 2, when I'm summoned, create a stance swap in hand. The first stance you play each round costs 0. It's a 6 mana 5/5.
Great card, beautiful. I think it makes the effect good. I think it's late enough for it to, and it only is the first one, so I don't think it makes stances a mega busted. But I think it's needed.
This card
is a
was
great
already
buff to
good, by the
stance
way.
in.
Oh yeah, this
I-
card was good.
Is it? I
Yeah.
still don't think this card.
I've never
I think
seen it in
free
play ever.
stances- I think free stances are really fucking good.
Free stances is good,
Yes.
but I don't know, like a 6 mana vanilla 5/5. Let's put anything on it. 6 mana 7/5 overwhelm. That's pretty decent. I'm not paying 6 mana for it.
Well, you're
Um,
not. Well,
But it's an engine, right? Like the
It's an
point is
engine, and that's
it's
what
an
it is,
engine.
yeah.
It levels your Udyr not
I
faster,
don't.
but easier.
yeah.
You spend less mana.
We're
This
just
isn't-
not in a spot where like currently the meta. We don't know how the meta is going to shake out. Currently, this is not a good effect. You do not want to put this in like the type of deck that this would go into. It's a very strong effect. I said that wrong. It's a very strong effect. The type of deck that you would put this into is not good in the current meta. I don't know how it will change post patch.
bro, it's not a 6 mana 5/5. You get a free stance. It's a 3 mana 5/5.
That's how that works, huh?
Great. Easy game.
I
Okay.
Mhm.
I do think if Udyr is good, and this will be
Because
one
of
of the
the
cards
card.
to make it good.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Next up, Swiftwing Lancer now has Elite.
Did you ever think this never had elite? Why
thought
did
it had
this
elite.
never have elite? Why did this never
I
have
think
elite?
it didn't have elite, so it couldn't hit itself.
That is correct.
Oh, true, you can hit
I think
itself.
hypothetically, it still can hit itself, right? Because the Crimson Curator card could create itself, right? Is that true?
I don't think it can anymore. Didn't they change that when like they changed Telescope not hitting itself?
I feel like that's the kind of change that would have snuck under like their eyes. So
I'm
who
pretty
knows?
sure they did. But
I think
don't know.
everyone's.
We'll
I
see.
think everyone's just excited for the next change.
Yeah, next up, everyone's dumb. Can't play Bandle Tree. Bunch of crybabies.
Get fucked.
What? Who's crying over that? Everyone's just like celebrating. Like,
Bye-bye.
"Woo!" Yeah.
There's so few people that like that
Okay.
I'm not even unhappy about this change, but I thought they could have done a better job. I thought they could have
To
done a
give
better
you a
job.
little bit of copium. Here, just read that last sentence, okay? Just read that
There's no way.
last sentence.
There's no way. I know what you're saying. There's no way.
Which one? This,
okay,
this
but
one?
like, what if?
I
It
saw
says-
this on your
It says
stream, that
win.
was so
It says
funny.
win the game if I've seen units from 10 regions summoned.
Okay, but
If
summon is
I
a
see not-
keyword. Like,
Summoned, not
It has to-
you summoned. It says summoned.
oh, there's yeah,
So
no,
it
no shot.
might
No
count
shot. No
your
shot.
opponent's.
No,
You
no,
know.
you're
It's the Bandle
Oh.
counter that we always needed.
that's the,
Mm,
No
it'd be so
shot.
fun. You're playing a tree deck. You're playing a tree mirror, and you draw a tree, but your opponent doesn't.
yeah.
I mean, it's like maybe a one of in Yordle and Arms, right? Like there's some matchups where it's like cool to get you like that per turn value.
Okay, so let's
like, this shit's on dark.
let's talk about this for a while. This Sun Disc, like, this is going to keep happening if you print like landmarks are either unplayable or like too fucking good because there's no
Landmarks that win the
counterplay
game.
to them.
You're talking about
Just in
Landmarks that win the game.
general, like what landmarks do we play anymore?
Preservarian,
Well-
Unraveled Earth. Like these are fantastic landmarks.
Okay, but not now that Modern Shurima's gone.
No, those are
Well-
great cards. Like Ziggs Talia loves those cards. Sivir Auction runs
Oh, wait,
Preservarian. Like, these are
Perseverance is a really good card.
Okay, Preservarium is good. Preservarium is good. What I'm saying is there's very few though, compared to like burst spells, slow spells, like units, like
Those spells suck.
But I think
Maybe not
as well.
anymore, though.
I think as well that a lot of people don't realize is now that we're getting Runeterra champions, like the neutral ones, that are going to have a pool of like a bunch of different regions. If you just put like Jin, the new champion, and then put Bandle City, you are hitting that fucking 10
But,
region mark so quickly.
But Bandle City already has like 10 regions. Like,
Anyways,
Yeah, but, like-
all I'm saying is, don't you think there should be more landmark removal?
I don't think
yeah.
that. Yeah, there should be some more landmark.
There should
removal,
be. I think removal, right? I think there should be more landmark
but
interaction,
interaction.
Yeah,
where it's like
split cards, right?
push-
Yeah, have like,
Like
units
average
that like come into play and they like deal 2 to something, or they kill a landmark,
Or
or
they kill a
like
landmark. Yeah, if it
Yeah.
stays.
Oh, and
like
as
that, I
well
love
as
it.
as well as is it be very
Split
interesting to
spells.
see cards that push back landmarks or do something else.
oh yeah,
not
like deal
necessarily
3
being-
damage for each landmark you have, or like something like that.
I think Weight of
uncount down
Judgment
the
should
landmark. Add time. The Dark Zillion.
I think that
Um,
like random cards like Weight of Judgment should be able to kill a landmark.
Yeah, stuff like
What
that.
about
I
what
wanna
about
see
like,
modular
check this
cards.
out? How about like a 2-mana 2/2 or 2-mana 2/3 or whatever? If the opponent plays a
I
landmark,
think,
they
I
like
think
take 2 damage.
you've
or something.
really
Take
got
a
two
damage.
options, right? You've
it's
got
so
you've
like
got
stupidly.
win condition landmarks
something.
need a redesign.
Like,
I think before they start printing more,
Yeah.
Or we just don't print them.
I think
or we just don't
There-
print landmark. I think like, the thing is,
we
the
kind
problem
of
is
talked
they're
about this in
cool.
like our alternate WinCon discussion, right? Where there's like such cool design space for like really
Yeah.
cool things that happen when it ticks off, besides like win the game.
Yes.
Well, I think
True.
the other thing is that you don't want to print just like silver bullet cards that like it
Yeah.
only hits this one matchup, but if you have it, you win that matchup.
Yeah,
Like,
but I'm
right.
not. See, that's why I'm not saying that. So I don't want something that's like more cards that are like 2 mana destroy a landmark. No, I want things that are like the 4 mana deal 3 damage or kill a landmark. That's cool.
I just had a fantastic idea.
Search up a champion or kill a landmark. Like so like things like this. Units that come into play and like do something or kill a landmark. Like it's so easy to tack it onto other stuff, you know?
All right,
Okay,
but
what
I'm
if-
He's ready.
I'm
Go on.
about to explode, man. What if we get a charm cycle like in Magic, where you have the dual
Yes.
region charms and they're super flexible cards?
Oh god.
That would be the sickest thing on the planet.
I don't know.
And
Yeah,
that's
you're
a
gonna
great
have
way
to
to have like.
elaborate.
For
Okay,
someone who's
okay,
never
so-
played Magic before, explain.
All right, so there's
Like,
a
what the
charm
fuck?
cycle in Magic the Gathering where there's colors, right, which are basically regions, and
Mhm.
each color combination has its own charm.
Lots of them actually now because they're so
and
popular.
they do different things depending on what colors. So like Noxus would have, and they're like diluted down. So like the power level is a little low of if you had a card that only did that effect, right? But they
Mhm.
have like 3 effects you get to choose from
Yeah.
each charm. And so these would be like the flexible cards that can be modular and can help deal with landmarks and stuff like that.
So it's
And
like
I think
imagine it's 3 different regions and it's like 3 different things. It could be
or
like,
be like 2.
it could be like +1/+1, deal 1 damage or something, kill a landmark or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
That'd be like the Demacia Noxus one. Yeah.
Is this a card?
Yeah, it'd be like a 2-mana burst speed card or whatever. 2-mana
I think-
fast speed.
That when we're talking about these decks that say I win the game, I think it just comes down to either you should be able to interact with their win condition, or you should be able to kill them. And like the issue is that stuff like Tree, you can't really interact with their win condition because like we don't have landmark removal in the game, or they'll just play 2 trees in 1 turn, and you can't fucking kill them because they generate a million fucking units. So they
Battle
don't
tree just
care
got
about their
nerfed, bro.
fucking board.
Okay, don't
No,
make
so
the tree.
No,
like-
I'm coming from a design perspective, right? So like from a base level, if we want to make landmark win conditions like this cool, either we have to be able to interact with their win condition, or we have to be able to fucking kill them. You have to pick one. You have to pick one. That's why Lee Sin was an issue, because like we couldn't really interact with their win condition, so we also couldn't fucking kill them through 6 Eye of the Dragon, and that's why they had to nerf Crescendum. I think that fundamentally you have to have one way of dealing with it.
I agree.
Okay,
That's how you're allowed to play.
We could
cool
spend
things.
another hour on this topic.
Yeah,
that we
let's keep
totally
going. We're
knocked out
going.
for an hour last time.
Yeah, we've got
Vanguard
some-
Squire used to be 4 mana, now it's 3
We've got some
mana.
bigger topics.
3
to
mana,
cover a little
3/3.
bit.
When you summon an elite, reduce my cost by 1. Do you guys think the elites will be a deck?
I think if you're like playing this with this, I think a 2 mana 3/4 is scary, right? You play the 1 mana 2/2 on turn 1. You play this on turn 2.
It's a
It's
3/3.
scary.
It's a 3/3.
3/3 even. Sorry.
I don't think 2 mana 3/3 is enough unless you're literally just curving, right? You're like, boom, boom. That's what you said. 3 mana guy, banner.
Or you play 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana, and
Like
this is
I
free,
think
and then you just play
like
it.
historically throughout like any card game, this is the kind of card that like really fits into like a burn deck, but it's in Demacia, and Demacia
I
doesn't
think
really have burn. So
The big thing is this lets you cheat mana into like Bannerman or Garen turns, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
So like you get to get another unit out there. You can't do it on turn 1. You can't do it on turn 2. So I mean, it's balanced in that way. I think it's a cool card. I think it'll be good in the archetype if the archetype's good.
It's also like you don't need the archetype to be really good, but like people who like the elites playstyle now get a ton of new stuff and like a lot better cards, and so it gets to feel a lot better for them, even if it's not tier 1, and that's fine.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's a good point. Is there's a lot of people who who play Legendary Terror for a specific deck. They either like the Elites archetype or they really like Soraka Tom Kench. That's a blast from the past, but they just have these decks, and the fact that they're not getting forgotten about and it's getting buffed and it's not really affecting anyone else unless it's like it happens to be in the meta in tier 2, tier 3 maybe. I think it's great.
Yep, I agree.
Okay,
All right, next one.
moving on. Yordle in arms used to give +4/+4.
That
Now it gives
card.
+3/+3. I think it's actually still decent. What do you guys think?
It is.
It's still good.
Yes.
It's still good.
That's what they always do with their nerfs, right? They don't
Mhm.
want to kill things.
Oh, really?
I think it's still good. Do I think it makes Yordle in arms a lot weaker? Yes, I think it makes it quite a lot weaker. I think if you look at Chompers, a lot of the times you want it to be 4 attack. I mean, it's 1 less attack and 1 less health across the board, but if you're putting down Poro Cannons, you can't put down 4 Poro Cannons and win now. You're 4 damage off. I think it's still going to
Significant,
close
yeah.
games. It's still going to be good for sure, but it's going to be a big hit to it. I think
Is
it's
Fizz Lulu still going to be an unplayable tier 3 deck?
I think
tier
it's
one.
I think it's
tier
playable.
1.
I think it's like a fine deck. I don't think it's
yeah. I think
running
it's
anyone over.
I think it's gone down its pedestal and it's gone down to the tier 2 pool of like a bunch of decks.
yeah,
Maybe the lower end of tier 2, depending on what the meta is.
It is
But
still
then
going to
you put
blow
God,
your
this
ass out of the
motherfucker.
water a lot.
and I think equally as important, like not only is it shaving off attack, like now you can actually trade into units, and the units might actually die on the turn they attack. Like,
Yeah, that's
whoa.
Maybe.
That was just never
+3/+3 is
happened
freaking big, though. But yeah, you can
All
kill
right.
some 1-tons and stuff. Okay, Moving on.
Great change.
Dragon's Protection. So this isn't
Oh,
a
they
card you
added
have
it
to,
in already.
you have to
Cool.
generate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of a 3-mana 4/2. in
3 and
Ionia.
14. So, you know, it's a decently started card.
It's Tasty Fae Folk, bro.
Oh, God.
I'm
That's-
really excited about this, actually. I like this card.
This
I
card's
like
kinda-
Claws of the Dragon.
This card's
before.
kind of
Yeah.
nuts. Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
I mean, put this, right, play your 3-mana thing, whatever, on turn 3. You didn't play anything turn 1 because you're playing Targon. Turn 4, you've got your Aphelios down, and it's a 3/6.
I'm pumping Zoe.
Yeah, you pump Zoe, you pump your Aphelios, you pump
any
whatever.
champion this lands on, it's insane,
Yes.
Yeah,
right?
he's never
Like
killing him. Yeah.
Victor,
You could put it on
Pioneer,
Tasty Fae Folk.
Tasty Faithful.
I think
It's
I
too
think
auto
good.
win against
It's
aggro.
too good. How do you beat that?
I think if you look at this card and you realize that there's not a lot of like permanent buffs apart from like something like a Freljord or Freljord, Targon, Demacia, right? And I think all those 3 decks have very like this is the decks you can make with them. It's very like minuscule. Whereas with Ionia, I think Ionia kind of branches out quite a bit. And
Can I bitch about this card real quick?
Yes.
Go on.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's crazy to me that they took us bitching about Twin Disciplines giving 3 health for months, and their takeaway is, bro, what if we gave them another 2 mana plus 3, except it's permanent? Bro, fuck off. I don't want these things. Quit giving them so much health.
I do.
I think as well, right? Is you're gonna have to run the 3-mana 4/2 unit in the
It's not
first
even
place.
that bad.
It's not
It
bad.
trades into everything.
It's not bad. It's good.
Here's some blockers.
It's good. Yeah, it's good for sure. But it's
That's
you
the
know it's
Mystic shot,
taking up
though.
what slots is it taking up?
Yeah.
You know,
It's
it's
definitely
gonna
like-
have to take out some stuff. So I mean, it's not like it'll just take out the bad cards of whatever deck is going up.
Yeah,
for
they'll
sure.
put in more back cards. It's great. Okay, moving on.
But
We got a lot to cover still. Let's go. Shadow Apprentice.
Oh, we do have the game changes, huh?
What happened here? So the 1 mana, 1/1 elusive. When you summon an ephemeral, give me +1/+0 this round. 8.
whoever that
So it
shark
used to
guy
only
is,
get buffed.
that
It used to only
chariot.
get buffed on enter the battlefield. Now it gets
Mhm.
buffed if you play an ephemeral after he's already on battlefield.
So it's an engine for 1 mana, which is kind of weird.
So it's
Farm
like that.
shooting.
What's that? It's that chariot shark guy on Twitter.
Shark
He,
Chariot.
he
Oh,
he
yeah.
finally got he finally got
it
his
gives
wish.
itself the +1. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
It gives
It's
itself
a
a
good
+1.
card.
I thought it was giving you ephemeral allies the +1.
No, this is a real card.
You know,
1 mana.
It's
Yeah, we've
like-
seen 1 mana, 1/1 elusives do work, right?
I mean,
if Hecarim sees some play, can I see this card potentially doing okay? Probably
I
maybe.
mean, it's also similar to like the Green Glade, the elusive guy, right? The 2
Yeah.
Green
Very
Glade
similar,
lookout.
just more conditional.
Yep.
Is
you get
that
to, like,
good?
you get to do the 2 mana summon 3 guys, which you already want to do, and then you just
Mhm.
hit them for 4.
Yeah.
Not counting the 3/1
Yeah,
ones.
but it has 1 health. So
Yeah, but it's.
that's,
I mean, sure, kill my 1/1, my 1 drop. Like that's fine, right? I'm happy to trade there,
It's kind of Delver if you think about it.
bro.
What's
it
not Delver
is.
though?
No, it's not though, because it like deals damage in small increments, but it's hard to block. I would say it's like burn, but like slower.
Well, you
Oh,
gotta remember,
gotcha,
you
gotcha.
gotta remember, at the end of the day, this card isn't a Shadow Isles card. It's an Ionian card, so you have to run Ionia and whatever you run. Your
Oh, that's
Shadow
true.
Isles.
Yeah,
on.
that's
Okay.
Hecarim Zed, bro.
Keeping it moving
Hecarim
along.
Nocturne.
All right, go ahead.
What did everyone's little brains think when they heard about burst passing going away?
very good.
Fine.
I
Dying
think
of
it's gotta
rage,
go
bro.
off.
How the fuck are you guys supporting this?
I mean, this is the
Fine.
best
Oh my
change of
God.
everything.
Burst pass should have never been in the game.
What do you mean?
Okay,
Burst pass
when-
still
when-
exists.
right,
Like now
out
you
of
just
the-
can't take a really shitty
Okay.
burst pass and expect it to be okay.
Exactly. Out of 9 out of 10 times, or like fucking 99 out of 100 times, the burst pass is like someone just saying, "Oh, look at me! I can burst pass. I'm cool.
Yeah,
I'm like
it's
a
so
good
true.
player."
That's all
it's
he
not
ever does,
bad.
though. Don't
It
take
did
that from
nothing.
him.
It is-
99% of the time it did nothing. Okay, the problem is the
Gem
burst
pass. Like yeah,
The
pass
burst
back.
pass.
Oh,
Guys,
damn.
The concept of a burst
Subscription.
pass was good early in competitive play because people didn't utilize it enough and people made mistakes. The problem is if you're playing at a certain level, these people aren't going to make these same mistakes
That's
anymore.
bullshit.
Burst
That's
pass,
bullshit.
Burst
passes
Pass has
work.
been drilled into everyone.
They do
by
work,
every
but-
They
streamer,
can
every content creator.
no, so
ever.
they do work. They do work. So burst passes are still good. Like they're really good against like aggro decks because the aggro deck can't afford to just not develop, right? Like a lot of like pirates and stuff. Like you can't really bank mana. Like you have to curve out.
It's the same thing.
Against pirates, I prank passed and they pass back on me. I hate this fucking change.
Then basically, this is just like you won't see.
Then you're just
idiots
wasting
play the
everyone's
game.
time with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just play a card, you
wasn't-
coward.
Oh, okay, bro. Okay,
It speeds up the goddamn game, so you and your
No,
shelf
real
decks don't
If
let the tournament go on for hours on end.
If someone pranks and then passes, and then they're pirates and passes back, they should have lost the game anyway. Okay?
It's
It's now they
anyway,
don't lose that game.
No, real talk. Here's the deal. I think that genuinely there are positions where burst passing does make sense. I'm thinking specifically like PNZ decks with like time trick into pass. I think that that's like a really valuable play that puts pressure on your opponent. And the fact that we lose that, I think is kind of shitty. I understand from like a fundamental perspective, like if you are giving up priority, you are basically okaying the game state. And if the other person passes back on you, I get why it is. I dislike it. I think it's annoying. I think it's going to be really obnoxious for a long time, especially for Shellfolk players and especially for anyone who uses time trick. And like Lee Sin players, right? Like guiding pass or like pale pass. Like these were reasonable plays that happened.
I was on board with that for a while, but then I thought about it long because I was like, dude, that fucks my Eye of the Dragon because I want to like guiding gem pass whatever, and then I was like, oh, I can still do that. It just ends the turn if they wanted to.
I think what's really going to be funny is when we see the clip on Twitter when someone plays Living Legends and then open passes and then loses everything in their hand.
I disagree, Majin. I think that like there's a lot of positions where you don't want to commit all of your mana up front.
For sure,
I think
for
giving
sure.
your
There's
opponent
times
the
that
chance-
burst passing is useful. No one's
Absolutely.
What I will say,
everyone's acting like it's like this 1 in 100 thing. No, this shit's happening
No,
pretty
yeah.
fucking
Who's
often.
everyone?
Yeah,
You're
but-
talking about turtle only. Like,
Yeah,
what do
I
you-
said
only
Okay, but
turtles.
check
He's like,
check
yeah, I said
Twitter,
that.
bro. It's the public
Okay,
sentiment.
so-
Everyone fucking thinks that.
I don't go there.
What I will
Everyone
say,
wants
what I
this
will
game.
say is the removal of Burst Pass, as much as this might suck for you, is going to make your decks harder, but it's going to force players to play good around mana and stuff like it. It's not like it's going to make the game easier. All right, I think that's whole sentimental is it's simplifying the game. I think yes, in a lot of situations it may simplify the game because it reduces unnecessary passbacks. I think sometimes it can be really good for sure. Like the everything you've listed so far has been valid reasons to burst pass, but I think the same concept of burst passing now, you actually have to manage your mana, play out like lower cost cards first, and then try and bait stuff out. Like there's still going to be a lot of skill there, I think, and I think that's a big thing from Twitter. Is just hey, they're just simplifying the game to make it easier for the everyday player. I don't think so.
I also I played a lot of Artifact when that was a game that existed. Because it's a really fucking good game, actually.
I'm
No,
joking.
like unironically,
don't
Artifact
even
is like
know.
a fantastic game. Don't get me started on that though.
Okay, go.
So Artifact's main like gameplay thing was a priority passing, even more than Runeterra's was. But you had to commit cards, or you could just get the turn ended on you, and it like there wasn't like burst passing or anything. But that was such a deep strategic part of the game that like I don't think you lose anything by removing. You lose niche things in burst passing. Yeah, like burst passing is good when you do it and stuff, but like I think you still get that part of the game. Now you just have to commit more, right? Like it's the back and forth is I almost think is going to get a lot more skillful with the removal of burst passing.
Maybe I am committing spells though, right? I'm committing spells. I'm committing mana.
Mm-hmm. You are, yeah. It's
I
just
don't
more
know.
risky now.
Yeah, I think as
Yeah,
well.
I think it's silly.
I think as well as much as burst passing school and everything, it's gonna make it Runeterra feel even more back and forth, which I think is like a really good part of the game. I think it's gonna be like the game's gonna be a bit quicker. It's gonna be like flow sort of thing. You play card, commit. I generally think it'll take a while to get used to, but I generally think it will make the game overall more fun for the
Right.
majority of players. There are definitely going to be some players like yourself, Kado, that really enjoy burst passing and play a lot of decks.
No, it's cool.
feel-
you guys hate Shellfolk. I get it. You
I
guys
feel
play
like-
good
yeah,
Shellfolk.
I feel like-
understand.
Bro, we don't hate
feel like-
Shellfolk. We just don't like you.
I do.
I feel like I just realized that we're going through all these changes and they've just all destroyed Shellfolk like bit by bit. Like they've just
or
like,
so-
I think
okay.
Shellfolk would be fun.
Okay,
If
I
you wanna
want to
soft
give a
match,
couple
just play
points.
an Otter boost.
That's right.
Go ahead, Jason.
So there's been things like this throughout Magic's history, long history, big changes like this, and the game got like simplified or kind of dumbed down, and I hated it at first, and for like maybe even a few years after, I was always like, when a spot would come up, like in the future now, you're gonna be like, oh, I could have burst past here, but no, now I have to cast a 7-drop because like I have no options or whatever, and things like that'll happen. But looking back, all of those changes that sort of simplified the game ended up being so much better. The game became just much easier to manage. It became a lot more fun to play because it was just a little bit smoother, and the barrier to entry for people became much lower. And I think more people came in, and it made it much easier for them to pick up and adopt the game, which is something that we sort of have had a problem with in LOR. So that's why I'm like really thumbs up for all these.
I think you can make that argument, especially with the upcoming change to like the cast and play, normalizing it. I think that's great. I don't think burst passing is like, you know, something that's stopping like silver players from playing the fucking game. I don't think that anybody in silver is like abusing their opponents by burst passing, because if they
No, but it's
did, like they wouldn't
confusing.
be in fucking silver.
It's confusing.
You're
Is
Right?
it confusing? If you play a card and then pass, you get priority back.
Actually,
Like-
yes. It was one of the only parts of the game that confused me when I came into it. I did
Okay.
not understand what's happening. I was like, sometimes my opponent casts things, and then
Sometimes
I
it
can't end
goes
a
to
turn, and sometimes
them.
they can. And
Yeah.
I think it's more confusing now. If I play a card and then pass,
yeah, but it's more
and I
confusing
don't
now.
get priority back,
It's more
Bro, come
confusing
on.
now, but like look at all like the indicators that they have. Like if we just like look at it as a general and look at like how a couple months ago we were really upset with changes, everything like that. We've gotten a big patch. We've gotten rule changes for the first time, which is huge for the game because we didn't know we were getting rule changes. We never knew the possibility of rune changes existed. The fact that they've opened this door now is huge for the game because it can change up a ton of play. And as well, the UI changes have been some of the most helpful UI changes for new players, for old players. Like it's insane.
Okay.
Yeah, do you not think it's consistent? Like the opponent gets priority when like the game will automatically give the opponent priority, right? Like when it's their priority. You play a unit, it's their priority. When you cast a slow or fast spell, it's their priority. Except for this part where you burst, and then you can pass and give your opponent priority, and then like
I
It's
see
like
it
the
as
only thing
if
that's,
you
like,
advance,
not
if you
automatic,
advance the
right?
game state, then you get priority back. That's what I think if you've advanced the game state, if you play a card, you get turned back.
It'd be
That's how I
very
see it.
interesting to see, Kato, if you got like, you know, like a small group of like 10 to 20 people that have never played LOR before, some card game players, some not, and then give them the two scenarios and see which one they find more confusing.
that would be, and you just don't tell them. Yeah.
I also
that'd be really
Yeah,
just
that'd
like
be
it's
cool.
gonna move the game around. It's gonna move the game forward. It's gonna
Yes.
force people to like really play spells or to like really bluff harder, right? Which I like also. Okay, let's go to the other change. Let's go to the other change now.
big
Oh,
one.
no.
That's
This is going to be the big one.
spells that used to say cast now say play. So basically things like Ezreal leveled, if you put something onto the stack, it'll have the trigger no matter what from Ezreal. It doesn't matter if the spell resolves or not. Same with Heimerdinger.
From what I understand, they're still going to say cast. It's just cast is going to act as play. Like,
They're
it's-
changing the text on like 61 different cards.
Are they changing the
Um,
text?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
can I get the take real
Right
quick?
here.
I think that normalizing it so that everything is either cast or everything is either play is a good thing. I think that it makes it a lot easier for new people to learn the game. I think it's a good change. My issue is I feel like instead of making everything happen on play, we should have shifted it the other way. So everything happens on resolution, because that gives you a lot more interaction. Like Riot very much indexed on, they want cards to feel good to play instead of cards to feel good to play against. And I think that's respectable. I understand why they're doing that. And I think that it, it helps out like Lux players feel a lot better about the game, and Jace players and Heimerdinger players. This is really impactful. But I would have preferred that we went the other direction, because it gives us more interaction. It lets us actually like react to shit, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Counter-
I'm on board with that.
Counterpoint. So this is a well-known thing in Magic, where if someone goes, I play a creature, and they go counterspell, and you go, I play a creature, counterspell, they're like, fuck you, fuck this
never
game.
play the game again.
But if they go, I play a creature, and your opponent's like, okay, I kill it. I'm like, okay, I play a creature, and like, okay, I kill it. Like, at least I got to do my thing. And that's what it's really all about. People want to do their thing. At any time you're like, boom, big spell up top, and they're like, kill your fucking Heimerdinger, or like a bunch of burn spells, or like kill your Ezreal. It just fucking hurts and it sucks. And like, you want the thing to happen more often.
For sure.
I will
Which is why I say I totally understand them leaning towards that, because they want people to feel better about it. I'm just saying from like a competitive perspective, you know, I would have preferred the other direction. But I get it.
Now,
I get it.
I think right now, as it stands, with nothing else that's adjusted, it's gonna be a rough change. It is, as back. It's gonna be something we're gonna have to point out broken stuff to devs. And I will say is we found a broken interaction. I DM'd the dev. They responded pretty much instantly and then got back to me within the hour with the team's decision on the thing. They are keeping a very...
Why are you so secretive?
You think that's good?
What?
You think that? Wait, you think Tarek copying Unyielding Spirit is good?
No, but it's still an it
not
doesn't matter.
It's not how it's supposed
It's the
to work.
concept.
Yeah.
Well, it's the
Why are you keeping
concept
this
of
on
them
the down
looking
low?
close.
Like it's a secret.
I didn't say that. I didn't say the change because, again, it doesn't really matter that too much. What I'm saying is the fact that they're keeping a very close eye on this patch, and they're very close eye on feedback. I think more so than any other patch they've done because of this big rule change. I think, you know, the changes that are going to be busted that people are going to find, because there probably will be changes that will be busted that people will find.
Yeah,
they will get
I gotta
fixed over
shout
time.
out, totally. I gotta shout out the devs. Are doing a really good job. Like they're really crushing it. Ruben's team is crushing it. I did message him about another broken bug, but like within an hour, he messaged me back just a picture of what he was wearing that day. So I'm not really sure what that.
He was, you said him about, you know, a tree for some reason is like I've seen now, and
he sent you a picture of his Tuesday fit.
Yeah.
All right, I want to do my spiel.
Go on.
I talked about this quite a bit. I think I have a lot of feelings about this. So first of all, I made an analogy a long time ago that I want the game to shift more towards Vile Feast and away from Pokestick, which is basically what Aikato's saying, right? Is that like I want to have a say in whether or not my opponent's things like work. Basically, I want that interaction, that back and forth. However, I do understand that it feels much worse for new players, and this change is exactly not the kind of change like that. That is the opposite direction of what I wanted, right? However, I think this change is eventually going to be better for the game. I think it opens up a lot of avenues with slow spells. I think it opens up a lot of reactive spells to get better, because your opponent still gets to do the thing. That means reactive spells get to get better because they can't completely stop your opponent from doing the thing, right? However, I think this is going to be a fantastic change in 2 months. I think right now it's going to suck fucking ass, and like we're all just going to have to deal with it. There's going to, like you said, there's going to be busted stuff. Some things are going to be way too good. Some things are going to suck, and we're just going to have to deal with it for a little bit. And then once we get through the growing pains, I think it's going to be a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. I pray players just be patient. I know it's a lot to ask for players to be patient, but I feel like if we are patient, we're very constructive of what we think is broken. We push it forward. We have, you know, we've made this patch has been a massive progress. We've got the LPP round table. You've got devs listening pretty much like within the hour. I think, you know, the thing is as well is it's fun to break the game sometimes and fun to find some broken stuff. As much as it sucks to play against, it's fun to find it. Go find and break the game. I like the devs want you to go and find and break the game. If you think something's gonna be busted, play it until you find some like a combination that's absolutely busted, and then post about it and say, hey, this is busted, like fix it. The problem is if players then go, oh, this one thing is busted, I'm not going to play anymore, we're not going to find everything so quickly. As much as the thing is it might seem very weird and not like a good concept of like a game, and like, oh, we're doing the dev's job, but let's just find the most busted shit and then they're going to fix it. That's just how rule changes is going to have to work. I don't see the rule changes not breaking a bunch of stuff.
Tell me about Jason.
I wanna throw in another point because I think this sort of like offsets a little bit of like the champion balance. And what I mean by this is there's champions level up on a lot of different conditions. And this sort of rule change definitely affects them. Like it creates a little bit of a disparity on how it works. So like Ezreal, you just can't stop the level up anymore. But if you look at like something like Garen, where it's Ice Strike, and like you try to single combat it, but it gets fizzled. It's not like I target with a strike, right? Same thing for something like Yasuo, where you like deny like Concussive Palm or like a deny Gravitum or something like that. You don't get the level of progress there. And now it like creates this like weird balance disparity where some champions get away with this and other champions don't really. And I think that's also like an interesting point in like design as well. And like maybe some champions need to be balanced because of this. And like, maybe Ezreal's getting nerfed or like some other champions need to be brought in line. Or like this target, non-target just like doesn't really make sense in some scenarios, but it does in others. It's kind of weird.
What do you think, Laurent? Tell me about it, homie.
I like it. I like all these changes. I think they're great. And frankly, since Worlds, it's been kind of like we've been in the fucking Shurima desert. There's like not been a lot to get excited about. There's not been a lot of new stuff. It's like not a lot of announcements. Like it's just kind of like nothing. Like it's, we held our breath for the big announcement in February. It was a giant dud. And it was like, Jesus. I literally after that announcement, I was like, something's gonna happen. Some things are gonna change. Like this can't go on for forever. This is like a joke, and I think we're starting to see that change now.
I will say, I think the only thing, if I'm gonna be honest, is the timing of this. This was the longest season we had, right? This would have been the perfect time at the second patch of the season to test these rules, in my opinion, because then it's a long season. You got a month and a half to fix anything, and then you've got seasonals. The problem is the new rule is now, and seasonals are next, and it kind of sucks because it counts towards Worlds, and it matters for people like us. And I think, the people on Twitter and the people you hear vocal a lot are the competitive minority.
There are people on Twitter. I just thought it was Mo and a bunch of bots.
That's Mo with Hellman, a bunch of randos.
We gotta wrap this thing up. So real quick, I want to hear from you guys. What are you playing day one? What do you think's the hotness? Give me what your top decks are. The ladder climbing.
What I'm playing and what the hotness are will probably not like.
Okay, not Majin.
I'm not playing any hotness tomorrow.
I think if you wanted to play hotness, okay. As much as this is very dull and it's not very boring, if you guys are struggling for LP, just run Spiders day one or something like that. Run a degen aggro deck day one. It's just going to be fun.
If you're going to play an aggro deck, at least play something cool like, Vladimir. Vladimir Burns.
I think if you want to play some cool decks, I think
we didn't talk about Felios. Isn't Felios going to be busted now?
Yes.
Okay.
I think
Felios is going to be really good.
I think if you're Ezreal to it, it's fine. But...
I think Nasus Thresh is going to see some play, especially with Quicksand.
What I want to experiment with, some Heimerdinger decks. I want to experiment with some Leona decks. I want to experiment with some Nasus decks. I don't know if they're going to be hot or not, but we'll see.
I think Victor Ezreal's Shellfolk is going to be really, 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 really fucking good.
Oh, I want to play some Victor Ionia or something with the Scales of the Dragon.
I think this is a fun one to end it on. Do you think that Yasuo Malphite is going to be at least a tier 3 deck?
All right, it was fun, guys. I'll catch you later.
Do you?
Leona Yasuo is way better, I think.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up. I have another podcast to be at, so
okay.
Real quick, Master Runeterra is running tournaments every single day starting tomorrow. Announcement is going up later today. Most of these are going to be for our patrons and subscribers, so go ahead and subscribe. They're going to alternate on weekdays between 4 p.m. Pacific and 5:30 Pacific. So tomorrow will be 5:30 Pacific. Tuesdays, Thursdays, 4 p.m. Pacific. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. And then Saturday, Sundays, like 10 a.m. We have 2 large $500 free-to-enter tournaments coming as well. One of them is going to be on May 7th, and then one of them is going to be on Friday, May 13th in the evening. It's going to be single limb right before. We're going to have 2 tournaments that day right before seasonals. So if you like tournaments,
Hog.
go to masterterra.com, sign up, enjoy
Wait,
tournaments and all the
Are
awesome
these
testing.
daily tourneys pre-dinner? Or is it the
Again,
$5 buy-in thing.
it is you have to be a patron or subscriber at masterterra.com.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's it for us. Man, I can't wait for next week. It's gonna be wild. We got 2.5 weeks to seasonals. Woo! It's gonna be a ride.
Yes.
All right.
Hopefully I'll be able to attend more now that it's towards summer. So you might see my face again. But I just want to thank everyone in the chat for being very nice to me today.
Yay, more
it's
turtle.
the first time on it. So
All right, peeps.
Yeah,
See you
it's
guys
about
later.
time. Bye, everyone.
bye.
Bye.